Hi guys, I'm Noluthando Duma and welcome again to the Diary of a Young Black Blessed Woman. So today I just wanted to speak about how life can actually be hard and how sometimes you have to pick yourself up even when things don't or the situation doesn't allow. So, I wanted to speak about the power of dusting yourself up and trying again, because that's exactly what life should be about, right? It should be about how not how you fall, but how you get up after a fall. And so, I've been sharing some of my stories about life, but today I said on a video that I posted before that I would speak about my experience of having been in a psychiatric hospital. Yep. So after I was found from my kidnapping, I then was admitted to a hospital. And at that hospital, they immediately transferred me into another hospital, which is a psychiatric hospital. So when I get there, I didn't have any idea that I had been admitted into a psychiatric hospital. I was in a ward, of course, with ladies. And because I had gone through such a big trauma in my life, I was like, okay, so they put me in this hospital. I need to recover. So, first day of my hospital stay here in Johannesburg, they told us that a psychologist would come and see us at 6 a.m. in the morning. So my bed was by the door and of this ward, right? Like this room, there was like about 8 to 10 of us in this room, and my bed was right at the door. So anyway, on the first day, I wake up. I think I woke up at about 3, 3:30 a.m. And I opened my eyes and I realized that people were preparing. So I'm like, what's going on? Then I checked the time. I realized that it's half past 3 in the morning. Then I'm like, why is everybody all around me preparing for what at this time of the night? So I'm like, okay. Anyway, I leave it. At about 6 every morning, the psychologist would come through and you do your session even before you brush your teeth. That's how deep it is in there. So I was sitting there and then got called in. My psychologist was there. We started chatting about what had happened. So their main aim is to help you through the trauma that you've been through. And then they assess you. So I spoke to him. Then it happens, the same thing happens at 6 p.m. and at 9 p.m. The next day at 6 a.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m., you see a psychologist. And every time now when we would go for to have lunch, like we had like the weirdest conversations, right? And I would just sit there and think to myself, So people like sort of introduce themselves. Some of them were teachers, some of them are doctors, some of them, because like it's like a private psychiatric ward, hospital. So it's like educated young people, older people who've resigned and retired. But like if they tell their story, you can hear that these people actually were doing well in life. But certain things didn't make sense. Then one day, okay, so I think the following day, yes, they flew my grandmother from KZN to come and see me, and my mentor also came, flew to Joburg to come and see me. And I think one of those, I think my grandmother or him, was the first visit that I had because I was on the first floor. And so I go downstairs. They say, no, this person's is here to see you. And I go downstairs and my grandmother's there. My grandmother's like, oh my gosh, I thought I was actually coming here to like say, confirm that you did. That's how my grandmother had felt, right? And I was happy to see her, and we were sitting there chatting. But like the people that were in these hospital clothes were, they acted different. And at that time, I didn't know. I actually thought I was just in a normal hospital. Anyway, then then I had the second visitor, which was my mentor, and and then I went downstairs and I saw him, and I was like, okay, maybe the next day, the third or the fourth day, then I can go downstairs and sit outside and just have some fresh air. Then one day I go downstairs to the foyer, then I go down to the outside the garden. When I get to the garden, there's some guy who's trying to climb a wall in front of the security guards. And I look at this guy and I'm like, what could be happening? This guy is trying to climb this wall, like this tall wall. Like, when I got in from that saga, I went straight to the nurse and I was like, where am I? The nurse tells me, you are in a psychiatric hospital. And I'm like, for what? She's like, if you've suffered so much trauma in your life, they usually book you into a psychiatric hospital because you don't have to be in a patient, like sick people's hospital. Like, I mean, also mental health and sickness is sickness, but like, you know what I mean, right? So the doctor transferred you here. And then I was like, okay. Then I tried to live through it. And I lived through it for a week, for a second week, for a third week. Can you imagine? And I had to work very, very hard to. And I know that we get there with different sicknesses, but also the last time I checked, and I think that's what it is about mental health, is the last time you check, you're fine, you are Noluthando Duma, and you are good, everything's fine, and then you wake up the next day, you are in a psychiatric hospital, and at the same time you are like, but I'm not sick in the head, and having grown up, we think, okay, bayahlanya, these people are crazy. But actually, I realized after a month of being there that these women that I spent so much time with were grappling with some of the most traumatic events of life. I was one of those women. I was one of those women who was experiencing trauma. I was there because something crazy had happened in my life. But there's also something that I did when I was there. And I remember this woman saying to me, I think you are crazier than all of us. Because in that ward, I started a prayer group. And I started a prayer group and a session for affirmations because I was trying to tell my mind. So it was Noluthando, the physical, then it was Noluthando, the soul, then it was Noluthando, the spirit, right? So we were having a conversation. And if you had come through to see me, you would have thought that I had lost my mind. But it was very, very important for me to have this conversation with myself, the three of us. So the spirit, Noluthando, the real Noluthando would say, Noluthando, you physical. They have made you feel so much pain. But no, let's now turn to the Noluthando, the soul, the mind, and say, Noluthando, the mind. You have more power to withstand this than anything else. You are strong, you are powerful. Noluthando, the spiritual, was the one that stood and made Noluthando the physical and Noluthando the mind to stand, to not break. And every day I would preach to myself. So I opened this affirmations group. And somehow the nurses got a hang of it that we were actually praying in our room, and they asked me to come and pray with everybody. So I started praying. I was praying in the psychiatric hospital. I mean, probably there's so many people thought that I too was a bit of like off in my head, because some people would laugh. But I was praying and affirming. So I would make everyone affirm. I would say, I am Noluthando Duma. I am strong. I am powerful. I am well. I am healthy. I am strong. I've got power. I'm a powerhouse. God has given me a purpose, and I am here on earth to fulfill the purpose that God has given me. I have a family. I have a home. I have a job. I have a business. I have a car. I have money. I am wealthy. I would say I am strong. I am the power. I am the future. I am the difference. I am the one who deserves to be loved and who is loved. I have children. I have a family. I have everything that I need. I am well. And I would say this every day. And I would say, when I wake up in the morning, this is my day. And I thank the Lord for this day. I would say I am strong because I can stand, because I'm seeing a doctor and I'm blessed because I'm able to pay for this service. And even when maybe it comes a time when I can no longer pay for this service, I will be strong because my mind is strong, my body is stronger, and the Lord will assist me and help me and allow me to be there when He completes what He started in my life. I would say the one I believe in can do exceedingly above all that I can think, ask, or imagine. I would say that He said in His word that I must call on Him and He will answer and show me and give me things that are unsearchable. I would say the Lord is my shepherd. Whom shall I fear? The name of the Lord is my strong tower. So it's what I learned whilst I was there. And then I came out of the hospital and I had been rejected. And I had been hated. People were everywhere. They didn't want to see me. And I remember in that, after a month and a half being released, after a month and a half in hospital, when I got out, I phoned some friends and I was like, I haven't really seen people in a while. Will you allow me to come and visit you? And my friends were like, what if the people that tried to kill you, maybe they're still following you, so you cannot come to our houses? We are afraid. Okay. So in that season, I went through pain of rejection, pain of trauma, pain of loneliness, but I also went through pain of losing the ones that I thought I loved me and I loved. They were all gone. So I wanted to encourage someone, if you are going through that, or, people are thinking, this one is crazy. It is well. Say it with me. It is well. Because the Lord knows what you're going through. And He will pick you up and raise you higher than you've ever imagined. I love you. So that was it for today. So subscribe to the Diary of a Young Black Blessed Woman, and subscribe to Revolt conversations, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter is Noluthando Duma at Duma underscore Noluthando. Yeah, and let's just continue inspiring each other. Bye bye.